Clear prop.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Central here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day as always. This is a King KR86 ADF receiver. It is one of the oldest, ugliest, and cheapest instruments in my panel. Several times I've been asked by my local avionics shop if I'd like to have it removed. After all, I have a nice new Garmin 375 and a couple of VOR receivers, so it isn't really needed. Yet, much to the dismay of the shop, I've always refused to have it torn out. Fact of the matter is, it works, and it works well. And so long as NDBs, or non-directional beacons, remain in existence, I want to have an ADF in my panel so that I can use them as a backup to any newfangled satellite technology. After all, a monster solar flare or anti-satellite warfare could theoretically throw GPS navigation back into the Stone Age. And if you think that second possibility is unlikely, well, the Russian military just recently conducted an anti-satellite missile test that resulted in a debris field which caused a lockdown of the International Space Station for fear of collision with said debris. Neither of those possibilities, however, are a problem for ground-based non-directional beacons. You see, non-directional beacons have been in existence almost as long as powered flight itself. Development started at the end of World War I, and by World War II, both the Allied and Axis planes were being equipped with radios not all that different in functionality to this unit in my plane. In fact, I did a video a few years ago in IL-2 Great Battles where I showed the functionality of an AFN-2, the World War II German equivalent to this ADF unit in my Sundowner. The technology is tried and true, cheap to set up and cheap to maintain. If the proverbial feces ever hits the fan, well, NDBs may be the only form of electronic navigation available in the short term. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's see it in action. In order to show you how the ADF works, I'm going to leverage some new technology. Here we're looking at a sectional on my tablet, and there is an airport here with an NDB co-located with the airport. That dotted circle, of course, indicating the presence of an NDB, which is really handy as it would allow me to navigate directly to the airport. Selecting the NDB allows us to get some more information on it, like its frequency, as well as any NOTAMs associated with it. Unfortunately, per the NOTAM, this NDB is currently out of service. Not to worry though, there are plenty of NDBs out there, and I can still get to this airport using a different beacon. This one, a bit northeast of the airport, will do nicely. It has no out-of-service NOTAMs associated with it, and it isn't far from the destination. At this point, it's just a simple matter of flight planning. I can figure out what heading to fly from the beacon to the destination, as well as the distance, and then of course I can calculate my flight time based on the speed of my aircraft and the distance I'm going to be flying, and I'm ready to go. So what's neat about the setup I have here is that I'm not only able to get footage from the cockpit, but I'm also able to record off of the tablet at the same time, so you get a live comparison between the two here. Now, something important to keep in mind with the ADF, and I'm sure somebody's going to ask about it, which is why I'm going to point it out, the compass card, or the thing that looks like a compass card behind the needle, is not actually a compass card. It's not actually telling you what direction you're heading. That's there purely for reference, and it's pilot adjustable. I'm not going to go into it in this video as far as how you would use that, but just know that that isn't actually telling you what direction you're heading. Right now, the needle is pointing straight up. It's pointing vertically on the instrument, and that means I'm heading toward the station. That's all you need to know. That's all the needle does, actually. The needle just points at the station. And you can see that on the tablet as well. You can see that the nose of my aircraft there is pointed at the NDB, just like the needle is indicating. Anyway, let's go ahead and fast forward to the point when I actually cross the NDB and then turn onto course toward the airport I'm going to. So what you need to keep a lookout for here as I start to cross the beacon is for the needle to swing. It'll start swinging slowly at first, but then the swing will become rapid. And once that needle swings one direction or the other, you know that you've crossed over the top of the non-directional beacon. At that point, I'm going to turn onto course and, of course, start my timer so that I can judge how far I have flown. So there we go, we can see the needle is swinging. So now I'm going to start my turn toward the destination airport, and I think from here I'm just going to fast forward the footage until we get to the destination. So, rejoining the action here from the camera mounted on my headset this time, we are overhead the airport, as you could see there on the moving map. Just timed my leg, and now I'm over the airport, just rolling a little bit out to the right and then back to the left so you can see the airfield down here. Of course, I will go ahead and make my customary low approach, so we'll have that low approach here footage shortly. But as far as NDBs and ADF units to use the NDBs are concerned, as you can see, it's very simple and it's very intuitive. And of course, the technology has been around for a very long time, and I don't see it going anywhere. Unlike some other radio navigation like VORs, VORs are kind of going the way of the dinosaurs. They're expensive to maintain, they're air conditioned and whatnot, so those are going away. Of course, the radios that are used for VOR navigation can still be used for ILS instrument approaches. But as far as navigation, VORs are kind of going away. But NDBs hang in there, and the reason they hang in there is because they're very economical to operate. And I don't expect them to go anywhere. And again, if there is some kind of a horrible solar flare or something like that that takes out satellite navigation, well, the NDBs will be a good backup. So I'm going to certainly hold on to my unit. In fact, I've ordered a second KR86, another used unit, and it looks a little bit nicer than the one I've got in my panel now, so I'll probably swap those out and just keep my current one as a backup once that one arrives. Go ahead and get those switched out, and I should be good to go for the life of the airplane. By the way, it's not just the NDBs that are inexpensive. The ADF units themselves are pretty cheap. I think the one I got it for like $40. So when that arrives, I can go ahead and get those exchanged, but they're really cheap. I think the highest price I saw for a KR86 was like $125, so they're really inexpensive instruments as well. Now, I could wrap the video up here, but there is one more thing that I wanted to show you that's not related to the NDB ADF navigation. I have spoken in the past about how difficult it can be to spot other aircraft in the air, and I wanted to give you an example of that, and I've got a really good one here. Again, because I was able to track the thing on ADSB, I can tell you exactly how far away it is, try and point it out in the video, and I want you to see if you can spot this thing. So what I'm looking at here is a medical helicopter that flies out of my local airfield occasionally, and it's a big helicopter. It's bigger than my Sundowner. It's the kind of thing that they can put gurneys into. They can roll a patient up, put him in, and take him to a hospital. So it's a large aircraft. It's 3 nautical miles away from me at this point, and I can see it in real life better than you can on the camera, obviously, but even still, it's just a speck for me. I'm higher than it is. It's flying low along a tree line, that nice long tree line in the video there, and I'll try and freeze frame it and give you an idea of what it looks like. You can see it on the camera, but it is absolutely a pixel despite its size, and again, only 3 nautical miles away. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed. That's all I've got for you today. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.